We're waiting for one more Gerotech person. Once she comes, we can turn our cameras on. Okay, fantastic. Y'all can turn your cameras on. And then first off, thanks for coming. I know it's a Sunday. And then also, before we get started with this presentation, do any of you? Oh, okay. Do any of you have any questions about, I guess, presenting in general? I know Hosung, Jenna, this is your first time. Abby and I have done this before. No?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I did write like a really long list of things in the Discord. Was everyone able to read that? Like for the new people about how like the Q&As will kind of work?
Um, Not yet. Can you like briefly go over that? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically how it's gonna work is like the title slides that everyone made for their respective section. After every single individual section, we're gonna open the floor up to questions. And then if there aren't any questions or if we answered them all, we'll move on to the next section just so they can ask it information that's relevant and fresh. And then at the end, we're going to have an full Q&A. And during each of these like mini Q&A sections, and then at the final Q&A section, all the Gerotech members, so us four, can chime in and help answer. So it's not, if you're presenting, for example, it's not just your responsibility to try to answer the question. We can all help. And so if you know the answer or if you have an idea of how to answer it, please do help each other through this. The participants don't expect us to know everything, but it does help if we can just all help each other and unmute ourselves. And then in the beginning, Andrew isn't here, so I'll be playing his introduction portion. Actually, I'll just go ahead and share that now because I need to test this audio. So can someone tell me if they can hear this?
Hello, my name is Andrew Kim,
Yeah,
and
you can hear it.
Okay, you can hear it. Okay, good. So we'll play, and that's the only thing you see, right? On the screen at the moment. Okay. So we'll play his part and then we'll get into it. We have around like 50 minutes for the presentation. Sometimes depending on, I guess, questions, it will go over. Especially if you're doing a longer section, don't worry about time too much. Just focus on being able to explain everything. Yeah, that's most important. And then also, when you're speaking, just try to speak louder because, or they'll interrupt you and be like, you need to speak louder, and they'll probably do that for me. So whatever. And then, what else did I write? Yeah, just don't be nervous. They are here just to ask us questions and learn from us. So it's like a really low stakes thing. But, and then there are like 20 people in the waiting room. So any questions before? Oh, and then Jenna, are you able to turn your camera on? Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
okay. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I just didn't know if your camera was working. Okay, so I will start. Abby and I can start admitting them in if there are no questions left, and then around 2:04 we can go ahead and get started. Abby, as they like come in, can you keep adding them in and then like mute them if they're unmuted? Okay. Sounds good. Oh, and then one more thing. If you're presenting and you see a message in the chat appear, you don't need to respond to it. I'll interrupt you if it's an urgent question. If it's not, we can save it to the end of your section. So just keep going. Okay, let's start. Hi, everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on our payment presentation for today at around 2:04. We're just gonna be letting everyone in the meantime. But thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. And if you came to our last workshop, the YouTube presentation, thank you for coming back again for our payment presentation.
I've been unmuted. Good.
Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Before we start, Bob, do you have anything you want to say first? Oh, okay. No?
I may be okay now.
Okay.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi. Were you fixing your audio?
Yeah, I think I finally figured out that it kept coming up that I needed, earphones.
Oh, got it. So, we can start going ahead with the presentation, and then as people enter the waiting room, we'll keep adding them in.
Okay. And I think I saw that you've started the recording.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
So, hi everyone. Once again, thank you for coming to our workshop today. In this presentation, we're going to be introducing payment methods and online transfer payments. So Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, and other forms like your digital wallet. Unfortunately, our president, Andrew, isn't able to be here today, but he did find the time to do an introduction recording to begin our presentation off. And then we do have our Gerotech members here, and some of them are new to the workshops, and so this is their very first time doing that. So if I can just take a minute, everyone on Gerotech, you can unmute and introduce yourselves. So I can start. I'm Kylie. I'm a senior at USC, and I'm the Director of External Affairs for Gerotech, so I help manage and plan all these workshops. And Abby.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby. I'm a senior and I'm the secretary of Gerotech, and I'll be helping present this workshop today.
Hi, my name is Ho-Sung Kim. I'm a sophomore and I'm a new member of Gerotech. And today I'm introducing several new ways to make payments.
And Jenna.
Hi, my name is Jenna. I'm a sophomore at USC as well, and I am a new member, and I'm excited to present to you all.
Yeah, thank you guys. So, if you've been to our workshops before in the past, our YouTube workshops or any of them from last year, just how our workshops go is After every individual section, we'll have a Q&A section. So based off of the information that has just been presented to you, you can ask questions or type them in the chat, and then our members will help answer them for you. We'll also have a final question section at the end for any remaining questions that all of you might have. So we'll go ahead and get started. I already have the video shared, so I'm gonna play it and then just Abby, just let me know if you can hear it.
Hello, my name is Andrew Kim, and currently I am serving as the president at SEA. Today, I'll be presenting in our online workshop through recording, as I could not make it in person over Zoom due to some scheduling conflicts. I am so sorry that I am presenting in recording, but I still wanted to serve in this capacity and just to introduce our organization and introduce our workshop today. After my recording, our other Gerotech members who will be presenting will introduce themselves and go on with our workshop. And just to introduce a little about Gerotech SC, and for those of you guys who haven't been with us throughout the semester, or those of you guys who are joining for the first time with our online workshops, Gerotech SC is USC's premier volunteering organization and student research organization to serve older adults around greater Los Angeles area. All of the students who are part of Gerotech SC come from different backgrounds to share a common goal of making the lives of older adults better. And our motto is, we are students empowering older adults. We have been doing initiatives to serve older adults in our local communities by going out to local senior living facilities to teach technology in person, as well as serving online through this workshop twice every semester to our USC alumni and to our Half Century Trojan and Emertime members to just serve you guys, to also talk about technology with you guys. And today, our workshop and our topic of today is online payments, which have been heavily requested for last couple of sessions. And we just wanted to share an introduction and what online payments are. And I'll just start us off with some introduction into our online payment systems. Online payments, or in other word, digital wallets, are basically wallets that you will be carrying around in your phones. As our society becomes more filled with technology, one of the benefits is we would be able to simplify our paying options into just paying with our phones instead of carrying our wallets or carrying cash. One of the perks of online and digital payment, digital wallets specifically, is a benefit of added security. As security has been a key factor in our society and an ever-growing threat with identity theft, with using credit cards, online payment, online digital wallets specifically helps us keep information and keep information protection through using contactless payment services, which incorporates end-to-end encryption, which protects your personal information and payment information. Also, online payments have been spreading across United States and across a lot of countries, and even within Los Angeles. I believe almost every single restaurant, coffee shop, and stores I've been to have had modems where digital wallets and contactless payment is accepted. And lastly, digital wallet is most credit card and debit card issuers, most banks provide the option of digital wallet through applications such as Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, and other third-party applications. So what is a digital wallet? Digital wallet is a secure form of wallet in your phones and in your computers, where you will be able to store your credit card and pull up the credit card to pay in person using your phone or online through secure paying checkout links. All the transitions are done in secure online transactions. So it will be very secure, and it will also help you keep your information as it minimizes personal information leakage. And digital wallets create this idea of end-to-end encryption where your end, it's information is kept at your end and their end so that there's no leakage of information. And lastly, the added bonus of, hey, you don't have to actually carry around credit card, and sometimes just having your phone, the credit card in your phone is one less thing to lose. So that is an added bonus as well. So there are different types of digital wallets, and this concept of digital wallet is based on the idea of contactless payments. Credit cards have been paid using a physical credit card, either through swiping or inserting the chip. And in the past, that has been a threat for security, as swiping or inserting the chip could compromise personal information and other security threats. Instead of that, there has been development of this new technology called contactless payment, where the chips in your physical credit card could also be used to pay without inserting the chip or swiping, and just through contact of the chip to the payment modem. So any sort of credit card with the logo shown here with the sideways Wi-Fi logo are accepted generally in those stores that have modems with the same logo that you'll be able to pay. Just as example, I just pulled up my Bank of America card, which has this logo, where this card will be accepted in stores with contactless payment. Also, in stores with those logos, you'll be able to pull up your digital wallet, and you'll be able to pay with your phone by just tapping your phone on the payment device, and the transaction would be done in a secure online manner. And digital wallets, for most parts, are smartphone based, using your phone as actual cards. So digital wallets include built-in applications such as Apple Pay for Apple devices, Google Pay for Android devices, Samsung Pay for Samsung devices. And there are also third-party applications such as Venmo and PayPal. And lastly, there's also a completely virtual option when you're shopping online and you want to create the most secure form of payment. An example of completely virtual, not smartphone based digital wallet is Amazon Pay, where Amazon would be the mediator of payment, where they secure and create a secure line of payment. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever a store has payment devices with that logo, you'll be able to tap either your card, your phone, also smartwatches. Smartwatches can be formed where you can set up online payments such as Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay on your respective devices, and you could tap that for your payments as well. And that would simplify it further from pulling it up on your phone. So after this, there will be this one video showing how contactless payment is conducted. And thank you for listening to my section.
Okay, so that was this introduction, and then I'll go ahead and share the slideshow. So oh, it's loading. Okay, so we'll talk more about contactless payments later on in this presentation. So now we're going to introduce to you the digital wallets that Andrew was mentioning earlier in his video, and just how digital wallets work, and also go more in detail of how the security for digital wallets work and how it necessarily keeps your information safe. So first off, what are digital wallets? So like Andrew was mentioning before, digital wallets are software-based systems specific to your phone. So if you have an Apple device, there's Apple Pay, Google Wallet, Samsung Pay, is for Samsung devices, and then there's also PayPal. So these are all different forms of digital wallets that securely store your payment information and allow you to make payments and transactions electronically. So you can make in-store payments where you use the system that Andrew was talking about in order to scan your phone, or you can access your electronic payments online when you're trying to make a transaction, say for a fashion store and you're trying to buy clothes, for example. So we'll go into Apple, Google, and Samsung later in this presentation and kind of discuss the features that you can access when using these apps, and then also see how you can add the cards to these apps specifically. So here are the key features of digital wallets. So digital wallets allow for convenient purchases. So like we mentioned before, you can make online purchases, in-app payments, so clothing sites, for example, or in-store transactions without needing to carry your physical. So previously, Andrew was mentioning a chip on the physical card that allows you to scan onto the devices at a store. The digital wallets work in a similar way where it catches onto the sensor on your phone in order to make that transaction. And these systems are called near field communication systems, and they have a reader in order to set that's sensitized to your phone. They also have, there are also methods to pay like QR codes where you can scan a QR code and it'll let you pay through there based off of the card that's already entered into your phone. Digital wallets also allow for secure payments. So a main concern when entering your credit card information into your phone is my information safe? So many of the softwares in Apple, Samsung, and Google are protected with encryption. They also have authentication methods such as fingerprint, facial recognitions, or PIN codes. So for example, if you have your phone, so this is mine, and I were to double click, I can access my wallet, and then my card appears. And in order to access that, I had to do face recognition or type in my PIN code. And so all of the devices have this feature. So if, for example, your phone was stolen, a person is unable to access the cards fit on your phone unless they have those authentication methods. And we'll go into later about what encryption is. And then integration with other services. So not only do digital wallets allow you to put in your credit card information or your debit card information, but it can also allow you to store airline tickets, concert tickets, or transit cards. So if you were to take the metro, you can put in your tap card into the services. And so, for example, with airline tickets, whether you're flying Delta, Sun Country, etc., oftentimes, these airlines allow you to do a pre-check-in before your actual flight, usually 24 hours. So if you were to check into your flight online on their website, after your check-in, they'll often have an option for you to add your ticket to your digital wallet. If you were to do that, instead of needing to have the physical airline ticket and give it to the workers at the airline, you can pull up the ticket on your phone and it has a QR code that's pre-generated that you can scan, which makes it easier for you if you don't like holding a lot of things. And then the same thing goes for concert tickets. You can store them in your phone. And then this is also just a convenient method because digital wallets is an offline system. So if you ever had like tickets stored in your phone that required from an app that required Wi-Fi service, having it in your digital wallet will circumvent that problem of potentially not having Wi-Fi. So then we'll go into the security on these digital wallets. So there are two important terms when it comes to digital wallets, and there's tokenization, and then there's also encryption. So tokenization is the process of replacing your sensitive card details with a unique identification code. So if you look at the top right corner, there's a series of codes that says 9766, etc. So when you enter in your credit card information, every credit card has a series of numbers. What tokenization will do based off of the card network that you're using, Visa, MasterCard, etc., is the phone software will generate a string that substitutes the numbers on your credit card. So instead of the actual credit card numbers, it'll replace it with actual numbers. So this keeps your sensitive data safe and locked onto your phone. So even if someone were to get access to your phone, they wouldn't be able to access the exact credit card numbers on your physical card. Encryption is the idea of being able to make transfer payments securely through Wi-Fi networks or internet networks without those services being able to access your credit card data. So it'll scramble your card numbers even more than tokenization and make those credit card numbers inaccessible and incomprehensible without decryption keys. Decryption keys basically allow the series of numbers and codes to be accessible in order to make a transaction payment. And these decryption keys are algorithms and softwares that are already built into payment systems. So when you're at the store and you're going to pay with your phone, for example, those systems already have built-in decryption keys that allow for you to make a transaction payment. And then going back to what Andrew said about end-to-end encryption, this is basically just the process of it. So your phone, the sensor will transmit a payment to the contactless payment system, and then the payment is transferred securely over the internet or Wi-Fi network of that payment system. So the payment processor will decrypt those numbers, and then your transaction will be able to go through. Throughout this entire process of tokenization and encryption, your credit card numbers are safe. So merchants at stores are unable to access the credit card details of your actual physical card, and they're not able to see any of the numbers or even the user information. So, and then also extra security on digital wallets, there's the multi-factor authentication systems. So when you're trying to access your credit cards, for example, they often ask you to put in your PIN code, a password, fingerprint, face recognition. Some have two-factor authentication systems where if someone's trying to make a payment with your credit card, you have to agree and allow for it to happen. Others have fraud detection. So digital wallet providers often work with card networks and banks to implement fraud detection algorithms. And also with your digital wallet, you can receive notifications of any payments that are made through your card. So if you were ever to receive a payment that is unknown to you, that is an indicator that someone is making a transaction on your card without you agreeing to it. So you can detect suspicious activity almost immediately. And then there's also remote deactivation. So if a user loses their device, for example, most digital wallets can allow you to deactivate the wallet itself. So for example, if you're an iPhone user, if you go to Find My iPhone, you're able to deactivate the credit cards that you had entered into your phone. So whoever has possession of your phone now can no longer access any of that information. So that's just a little background of the security methods in place for digital wallets, especially because now that technology is growing, security is always a big concern and safety of personal information. So now we're going to go into how to get set up. So if you want to access your cards, you can go to the app or you can double tap the power button and your cards will appear. So we're just going to watch these brief videos of adding cards to these three methods.
Want to start using Apple Pay?
Abby, could you hear that? Okay.
Yes.
Not sure how to set it up? I'm Jessica, and in this video, I'll show you how to add your credit or debit card to your Apple Wallet. Now let's get started. To set up your card in Apple Wallet, first open your Settings app. Scroll down and select Wallet and Apple Pay. Then tap Add Card. Select Debit or Credit Card. Then tap Continue. To quickly add your card, you can hold your device above it and position it in the frame within the camera window to scan the details. You will need to scan both the front and back of your card. You can also opt to add your details manually. With this option, you'll need to type in your name as it appears on the card, your card number, and other details like the expiration date and CVV number. Once you enter all your card information, it will be verified with the bank or card issuer. Depending on how your financial institution chooses to handle Apple Pay, you may be asked to provide more information to verify your card and/or agree to terms of use. Mine also required a verification code sent through text message. Once the verification process is complete, your card will be ready to use in your Apple Wallet and can be used for transactions completed on your device as well as in person using Apple Pay. If you'd like to use this card as your default payment method, tap Use as Default Card. That's all it takes to add your credit or debit card to your Apple Wallet. For more helpful iPhone.
So for Apple Wallet, you can also go into the Apple Wallet app itself and be able to access these, be able to add your wallet. For some reason I can't exit the video. Sorry, 1 second. Oops. Okay. And then we'll go through the Samsung one. Oops.
Want to start using Apple Pay but not sure how to set it up? I'm Jessica, and in this video,
Just
I'll
keep
show you
it
how to add your
small.
credit or debit card to your Apple.
Oh, Kylie, I don't think we can hear the audio anymore.
Really? Okay. It makes it difficult for me to like exit out of these small videos. So this presentation will be shared with everyone. I can explain it. I'll explain it because the videos are a little difficult to access. So with Apple, Samsung, and Google, they have many of the same methods. So if you go to the app on your phone, it's already set up because of your Apple ID or your Samsung ID or your Google account, for example, on your phone. So there isn't an account set up necessarily. When you go into the wallet, you'll often have on the front page interface and the ability to add a card. When you add the card, it'll often ask you to scan your card on the front and the back in order to get the user information and then the card details on the back. And then the card, and then the card on the back. And then once you enter in that information, it'll contact your bank in order to verify the information before the card is actually officially set up onto your phone. And then also we do have these videos, so this presentation will be shared at the end if you want to be able to go and watch them and see a detailed way of how to do it. It's just being difficult right now.
Want to start?
Welcome back, everyone.
Okay, so we're going to go into the features of each one. So Apple Pay features. So when you open Apple Pay, if you look on the right picture, you'll have a display of all of your cards that you've ever entered into your wallet, and you're able to select among those cards to be able to view your transaction histories under them. So if you click any of the credit and debit cards that you've already put in, it'll list out all the transactions that you've ever made on that card, so you can verify whether or not the transactions that you've made have actually occurred and existed. You can also add transit cards, for example. So in the upper right corner on the wallet, you'll see the plus sign. When you click on that, it'll show up ability to add to your wallet. So you can add Apple Card, Apple account, debit card, transit card, and your driver's license, for example. So if you added a tap card, for example, on the Metro, you can view the leftover money that you have in that card. So I just put my Metro card, which has 35 cents, and then you can add money directly to that card instead of having to go to the machines and add money physically. And then you can also view all the transactions that you've ever made using your tap card. And this works for a lot of other transit cards, and they have a wide variety of cards to choose from, even from like different countries, for example. So you simply have to be able to find the card that you're searching for. And then airline tickets and concert tickets will also appear among those cards, so you can access them, and then each one will have a pre-generated QR code. And then for the driver's license, currently the only ones that is available for Apple Pay and Apple Wallet specifically is Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Hawaii, Maryland, and Ohio. But even though it's really convenient to be able to have these cards on your phone, I'd still recommend just carrying them physically, just for safety precautions. And then for Samsung features, you can, similar to Apple, you can view your cards, your event tickets, concert tickets, airline, etc. And so when you enter into the app, it'll have that button that says Add. When you click on Add, it'll take you to the My Wallet home screen. On the My Wallet home screen, you'll be able to see payment cards, your digital keys, boarding passes, event tickets. And so that's where all of these different types of digital information will be stored. So your boarding passes will have your airline tickets that you set up. And so if you click on payment cards on the My Wallet, you'll be able to add your credit card and debit cards there. You can also you also have the option of adding PayPal or add a card by scanning a QR code, as seen in the upper right picture. And then you can also add transit cards similar to how you can add transit cards on Apple and be able to see your transaction histories. And then the bottom right photo is just an example of what a digital airline ticket would look like. So it creates a pre-generated code for you that you would simply scan when you're in the airline, and they'll be able to register your ticket. Samsung Pay also has an added layer of security for fraud protection, and then as of right now, they don't support driver's licenses. And then for Google Wallet, Google Wallet keeps up with changes to departure times, and they allow you to do Google searches. And so when you download the Google app, you have to enter your phone number and sign into your Google account in order to access the Google Wallet. From there, it'll have you add the option of adding your bank account or your debit or credit card. So once you're able to enter your credit card information through the scan feature, you can click add payment methods in order to add more credit cards or debit cards. Google Wallet also allows you to carry digital car keys, which makes accessing, so for some electronic cars, for example, they have digital car keys where you can open the car with your phone. And then they also have the option of allowing you to store vaccine cards, for example. And then, so this is more of just like going into the contactless payments. So when you want to access your cards, you want to unlock your phone and press the power button twice to access your wallet and unlock with the fingerprint, face recognition, etc. And then once you see the system, so the system looks like that picture on the right that you'll see in stores. And then like Andrew said, you'll see that sideways Wi-Fi symbol. That's where you would tap your card. So you want to hold back your phone close to that payment reader and look for that symbol, and that's where the transaction will be made. And if prompted, sometimes there will be on-screen instructions asking for a signature just to confirm that the payment is actually you. And then this is just making payments online versus in-store. And so on clothing stores, for example, whenever you're going into a payment, you can often see the option to pay with like Apple Pay or Google Pay, Samsung Pay, or buy now, pay later. And so with the credit cards that are already entered into your phone. Instead of having to physically get your card and enter in your card details, you can choose the option to access your transaction through a digital wallet. And then the same goes for like Uber Eats, for example. If you're trying to order food, they have an option of being able to do it through Apple Pay and other digital wallets. So once again, instead of having to grab your credit card, you can simply pay through your phone, and it'll just ask you to be able to confirm the transaction by doing a face recognition or by entering your PIN before the transaction is processed. So before we go into the next section, does anyone have any questions about digital wallet? Okay, none. And then I did see some comments about Android setup. We can do that for future workshops, so thank you for that. And then transit cards. Yeah. So there's a lot of useful information in the chat if you would like to read over that. So now we'll go into online transfer apps, and then Jenna will take over. Is she
Sorry,
here?
give me 1 second. Okay, so we can go into yeah, okay, we can start. So we'll start with the poll really quickly.
The poll isn't popping up, but can we have a show of hands from the users if you've ever used online transfer apps like Venmo or Zelle or PayPal before, if you want to react or just raise your hand? Okay, so a lot of you have
Okay.
used it before. Okay, so that's good. Oh, yeah, everyone's raising their hand. Good. Okay, so we're gonna go into these apps more, and then some of you might already know how to use them, but that's great.
Okay, so the 3 most popular apps that we can talk about are Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. So these are the ones that I think are the most commonly used by businesses or even by banks and by people around me. So the first one is Venmo. It was created in 2009, and it's actually owned by PayPal, and that is like the logo right there. And then there's Zelle, which was the most recent, like the newest one out of the 3. It was created in 2017, and PayPal is the last one. It is the oldest one, and that's the logo right there. So we'll start with Venmo. So how it works is it's basically an app where you can send and receive money to your friends, or send money to your friends and receive it from your friends. So it doesn't actually require you to link your US bank account. The money that you receive from your friends is automatically stored in something called Venmo Balance. So that money, it'll just stay in the app until you take it out by transferring it into your bank account, or until you send that money to someone else. So you only have to link your bank account if you want to, like I said, transfer that money out of Venmo into your bank account, or send money from your bank account directly. So with Venmo, you have a couple of payment options. You can pay using Venmo Balance. You can pay using the money in your bank account or the cards that are linked to the account, and you can type in like the debit or credit card numbers and pay using those as well. And to find other people's accounts using the app, it's not shown in the picture on the left, but you would search it up. You can search up someone's name, their username, their phone number, their email address, or scan a QR code. A unique feature of Venmo is that it's actually more of a social app. So as you can see on the left, you can see your own transactions with other people, but you can also see your friends' transactions to other people, and you can add a little note, you can add emojis to you can kind of just share what you're up to in a sense by keeping people updated with your transactions. Venmo actually does not allow international transfer, so you can only transfer and receive money from people with US bank accounts. Okay, so here are two screenshots from my own bank accounts. As you can see on the left, you can see at the top left corner, you can see a search button and a scan button. So that's how you would scan someone else's QR code in order to be directed to their account. Or you can search up someone's name or their username. And then on the top, those are my friends, the people who I have added on the app. And then you can see my transactions and you can see my friends' transactions as well. And then on the right, that's a picture of like my own personal profile. And you can see how many friends you have. You can check your wallet and see how much money you have in your Venmo balance. You can keep track of the banks and cards that you have connected to Venmo. And then on the top in the middle, there's also a transactions button. That's where you can see all of your own transactions as well. So in order to create a Venmo account, you would just need to open the app. And there are 3 different types of accounts that you could create. There's personal, teen, and business. And the one that would apply to most people is a personal account. You just need to type in your personal information. So that's your name, your date of birth, your phone number, and email. And then you can add your payment method. So the video for that is in the top right corner. If you want to, yes.
We're gonna try to play the video and see if it works. Jenna, can you let me know if you can hear it?
Is jump into
Okay.
either your Play Store or the App Store, depending on the device you're using, and then you want to download the app, and it looks like this. Now, the first page that we get into once the app is downloaded is how you will be using Venmo. So you'll either be using it for personal or business. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and tap on personal and say sign up. Here you want to enter in your phone number and tap on send code. This will allow you to verify your phone number. We're going to go ahead now with that phone number, and we are going to enter it into this page. So once you've done that, you're going to tap on submit code. And getting through here, you will have to add a photo. This is optional. What you will have to fill in as a required field is your legal first name, your legal last name, your username of choice, an email address that you'd like to sign up with, and then also a password for that email address. And then we're going to go ahead to the bottom of the page, and we're going to just make sure that we tap on I'm at least 18 years old, and we're going to go ahead and tap on next. So the next page is just their user agreement, their privacy policy, and a look at a few of their fees. And once you've sort of read through this and have a better understanding of it, you can go ahead and tap on agree at the bottom of the page. The next option you will have is to either sync your phone contacts or your Facebook contacts. Now, again, this is an optional step. So at the bottom, if you don't want to do this, you can go ahead and tap on skip for now. These are your payment settings. Now, the reason you have to run through this is just so that you can set your defaults. So if you're setting to public, then all of your friends or your contacts can actually see your payments. So if you set it to public, this means everybody, including your non-friends or non-contacts, can see your payments. Of course, friends is the option of only your friends seeing your payments, and private keeps that completely private. You can go ahead later on and change these settings in the app at a later stage if you would like to. On the top right-hand side of the page, you're going to tap on done, and here you'll be prompted to allow notifications to come through to your device or not. And this is now your homepage. So here you can find people to pay, you can add a way to pay, you can enter a promo code and get the Venmo debit card. Right at the bottom, you can scan a QR code for payment, or you can pay or request. You need to go.
We're gonna go back to the screen, and then Jenna, just for the sake, because like the videos are just making it too
Oh yeah.
difficult. Again, like we'll have these videos for everyone. And if there's anything in the videos that you included that you think isn't important, if
You
you're
need
able
to
to
go.
just explain it. I know you also have
Okay.
too, so.
Okay. Someone brought up a good point in the comments. There are some apps do have restrictions on how much you can spend or how much you can transfer into your account. So Venmo actually has a limit. You can only transfer $500 in or $5,000 into your bank per transfer. You could do it multiple times, but you can only do it $5,000 per like transfer. So in order to pay and request money, you'll see in the following slides, but there is a pay or request button at the bottom of the page. Yeah, actually, do you want to move on to the next slide?
And what we want to do is
Yes. So if I hit the pay and request button, I can search up the name or the username, phone number, or email of the person that I want to pay. So let's say I'm paying USD pineapples. I would type in the amount of money that I want to send this person or request them to send me. And you can see like the little keypad with the numbers on the left. And then on the right, you have to type in the "what's this for" box. You would write down what this payment or request is for. So if I was paying this person for matcha latte, I would write down matcha latte, or you can write down whatever else you want, but it is required to put something into that box before you hit the request or pay button. Okay, and then if you hit pay, you get this page on the left. You have the option to select your payment method. So you can pay from your Venmo balance, or you can use one of the banks that you connected or a credit card that you have connected to your account, and you could select that. If you're paying from a credit card, there is a 3% charge, or yeah, a 3% charge. It's a little added fee. And then on the right, after you hit the X button, you will get the option to select your privacy settings for this payment. So you can make this payment public, which means anybody can see it. You can make it so that only your friends can see it, or that only you and the person you're sending it to can see it. Okay. Yeah, so that's the privacy settings. And then in order to add your friends, you can hit the search button and then type in the name or username of the person you want to add, or you can sync the contacts on your phone to Venmo and it'll automatically show you all the people who are on your phone who have Venmo. Adding friends is a good option for to kind of keep in mind if there's somebody that you're always like constantly paying or receiving money from. It's good to already have that person added as a friend, just so that you don't have to search them up each time. And then to transfer and add money from Venmo between Venmo and your bank account, you would hit the Me button on the bottom right corner of the screen. And then to transfer the money from Venmo balance into your bank account, you would hit the transfer button, which is shown by the green arrow in the picture. To get that money into your bank account instantly, there is a 1.75% fee added. But to transfer that money into your bank account for free, it'll take 3 business days. And as you can see on the right, you have the 2 options, and then you can click the transfer to button. That'll give you where you want to put that money into, which bank account. And then to add money from your bank account into your Venmo balance, you hit the add money button shown with the yellow arrow. And then you can add money from your bank account or from a debit card, or you can even cash a check to get that money into your Venmo balance. Okay, so our next app is Zelle. So Zelle is a interesting app. You can use the Zelle app or you can use your bank app to access Zelle. So Zelle actually does require you to link your bank account or a Visa or MasterCard debit card. MasterCard debit card. You can't link your credit cards directly to it, so that's a little bit different from Venmo. So when someone sends you money to Zelle, it automatically transfers into your bank account or debit card, so there's no delay and there's no fee. And in order to access Zelle, you might have to go through your bank app instead, and there's an option to hit like send a request with Zelle instead of actually downloading the Zelle app. And depending on your bank or credit union, whatever it is that you're connecting to Zelle, there might be a fee attached to it, but no Zelle app fees. And here's an example from the bank app. You would hit, like your settings or whatever options that you have in your bank app, and then click transfer and pay. And then there's transfers, bill pay, or send money with Zelle. So that's what you would select. And then you can choose who you're sending the money to. So you can type in their name, their phone number, or their email, and then their profile will show up. And then you can either send money, request money, or split a bill. So if you covered the bill for something and you would like to split it with other people, you can click the split button, and then it'll give you the option to add all the people that you're going to split it with, how much money the bill that you're going to be splitting, and then how much money each person is going to pay. And then you're going to put in the amount that you're going to pay or request. Similar to Venmo, you're just going to type it into the little number pad. And then on the right, it shows you the activity, so you can keep track of all of the payments that you've made or all of the money that you've received.
And then I just want to also make one note that we did include a screenshot of like what it looks like on like my banking app, for example. But if you use Chase Bank or other banking services, the interface, how it looks might look different. If you go into your settings, you can often find the option to send money with Zelle, but depending on your credit union, it might differ in the location and like how it looks. And then also someone did mention in the chat that for Zelle, there is actually a limit. So for Venmo, you're able to send a lot more money to your friends through a single transaction. But when it comes to Zelle, for most banks, there is a $500 limit per day to be able to send. And at least for mine specifically, the maximum limit to send each time is $300. So if you were to send $500 in a day, you'd have to make 2 payments, 300 and 200. So that's just something to keep in mind with Zelle, that you can't send over large transactions immediately.
Okay. There are also like tutorials on YouTube created by different bank accounts so that you can access Zelle depending on the bank. So on the left is like a Chase example, but you can search up your bank and how to use Zelle, and your bank might have a video to use Zelle with that interface. So as we showed earlier, you would just hit the send money with Zelle on the Zelle app or your bank's app, type in the person, and then you can select which bank account you want to pay from. And splitting money, you can also split a bill by adding all the people that you're going to split it with, and then type in the money. If you're using the Zelle app, you can add different bank accounts, I'm pretty sure. But if you're using your own bank app, it's only going to be connected to the accounts that you have under that bank. Okay, and then moving on to PayPal, this is our last app that we're going to cover today. So PayPal is more similar to Venmo. They are by the same company, but PayPal doesn't require you to link a bank account. There's a PayPal balance that your money will automatically go into, and then you can choose what you want to do with that money, either send it to other people or transfer it into your bank account. So you also have several payment options with PayPal. So you can send the money that you have in your PayPal balance. You can link your US bank account, or you can link a debit or credit card and take the money from there and send it. You can also send invoices, as PayPal is it's more often used for businesses. So you can find other people's accounts similar to Venmo by searching in their name, username, phone number, email address, or you can also scan a QR code. The unique features for PayPal is that it is more like geared towards business transactions. So there are a couple different features. They have fraud protection for eligible purchases. So if you buy something from someone and they don't send that product over, like you never receive the product, you can actually use this protection service to potentially get your money back. So this is what PayPal looks like. in the app. So you have the home, accounts, send request button, activity, and then offers on the bottom, and then your profile button is in the top right corner. So you can see your PayPal balance here. You can scroll through. PayPal also has like offers with different companies, so you can get like some percent cash back or different offers with other companies. And then on the right, you can see your own activity, so you can keep track of all the payments that you've made or all the money that you've received with the date, and you can click on them for more details. So paying and requesting money on PayPal, you would hit the send request button in the middle at the bottom of the page and find the person that you're going to be paying. And then again, you have the option to select your payment method. So you can use your Venmo balance, you can use your card, or you can use your bank account. You would type in the amount of money that you're going to put in. And that's not shown here, but you type in the money that you're going to put in, similar to like the other two apps. And then you can review and see, kind of like the address or whatever that the bank account is linked to. And you can see like the total amount of money that's going to be sent before you actually send the money. So PayPal also, you can use it on a lot of different shopping sites. So when you're in the checkout station, so this is actually the Abercrombie and Fitch website. Let's say I was going to buy a sweater and I wanted to check out using PayPal, you could hit the PayPal button shown with the yellow arrow, and then that's going to direct you over to the site on the right. It's going to direct you to the actual PayPal site, and you can choose your method of payment once again, and then continue to review order, and then you would be able to pay using the money from PayPal instead of actually typing in your credit card number, or if that was your other option. So here's a comprehensive review of the 3 different services, and it kind of covers everything that we went over, but as you can see, they have different features and there are different like pros and cons to each one. You might want to review this to kind of decide which one you want to use for a certain payment.
And then before we move on to the next one, there are some questions in the chat. The first one is, can you have more than one bank account number on Zelle? If not, do you have to keep changing the account number? So I can answer this one. So when you can either access Zelle through your banking app, or when you download the Zelle app, it'll ask you to be able to search up your banking and credit union. So every account on Zelle is linked to an email address and phone number that is associated with your certain bank account. So the only way to be able to use other types of banks is to be able to switch your account. So in Zelle, if you go to settings, you can log out of that current bank and go to another bank, but you want to ensure that the email or phone number associated with them is different. Otherwise, there will be more difficulty sending, but it is possible. And then the other question is, why choose Venmo, Zelle, etc. over a credit card payment? So Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal are online transfer apps. So this allows you to pay friends or family, etc. So with credit cards, for example, those are for in-store transactions or online transactions through your own card. But Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal allows you to split up money and be able to send it to others. So for example, if you went to a restaurant and your friend paid the tab and you want to pay them back, that is a way that you're able to send money, because it isn't. Yeah, and then also some apps aren't likely, as Ben said in the chat, they're not likely to be able to accept credit cards.
Also, if you have like money in your Venmo balance or in your PayPal balance that you received from your friends that you want to use to buy like a sweater on Abercrombie and Fitch, like the example, you can use that money from your balance instead of like using your card if you just wanted to use the money that you have in that app.
And then another good point that Ben pointed out is sometimes if you use credit cards, there's an extra like fee, like percentage fee applied to it. So when you use these online transfer apps, there normally isn't a fee. So you're spending the money that you owe or you want to give to your friends and family, and you're not paying extra. So if there are no other questions, we'll go into the next one. So
Awesome. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about some new ways to make payments without using cash or even a physical credit card. As technology changes, we thought it's important to know the options available to us so we can feel comfortable and secure in making purchases, paying bills, or managing our money. So I'm going to introduce 4 types of payment methods: virtual cards, prepaid cards, ACH payments, and QR code payments. I'll explain what each one is, how they work, their advantages, and a few things to watch out for. Oh, you skipped the virtual card. Thanks. First, let's talk about virtual cards. A virtual card is not something you hold in your hand. It's a digital card, meaning it only exists on your computer or on your phone. You use it to make online purchases in person or even over the phone by speaking virtual card numbers to a customer service representative. Some people might ask if it's the same thing with digital cards that we introduced earlier. While a digital card is also virtual, a digital card is a virtual representation of a physical card, often associated with Apple Pay or other forms of digital wallets. However, a virtual card has nothing to do with a physical card, but follows the same rules that govern physical card numbers, like cardholder's name, expiration date, the name of the card network like Visa or MasterCard, and a CVV code. So what are the advantages? First, it offers heightened security. Virtual credit cards aren't directly connected to your physical card or your account details, cutting back on the risk of fraud. Additionally, one of the key benefits of a virtual credit card is that it's much easier to cancel than a physical credit card, potentially keeping your account safer. When a physical card is lost or stolen, you generally must cancel it and await the arrival of a new card. But when you need to cancel a virtual card number, you just normally can do so by logging into your account and following the card issuer's directions. Also, it's really easy to make online purchases. A virtual credit card might just simplify your online shopping. For example, rather than typing out a card number every time you make an online purchases, you may be able to rely on virtual card numbers that autofill the spots where payment information is entered. And it seems obvious, but a virtual credit card doesn't require you to keep track of a physical card. So when you're ready to make a purchase from a merchant that accepts virtual cards, you don't need to scramble to find your physical card. However, this means that you can't use virtual credit cards at physical stores unless they accept mobile payments. So it's mainly for online shopping. And also, some virtual cards are short term, so they might expire quickly. Oh, I think you skipped prepaid cards. Yeah, perfect. Next, we have prepaid cards. This one's easy to understand. A prepaid card is a card that you load with money ahead of time, like putting cash into a piggy bank. So once you load it with a certain amount of money, you can spend it just like a debit card. For example, let's say you load $100 onto a prepaid card. You can use the card at the grocery store or to pay for anything. But once that $100 is spent, the card has no more value until you reloaded it with more money. So here are a few of the reasons prepaid cards are gaining popularity. First, it's easy to track your spending. Prepaid cards can help people who have difficulty managing their personal finances get their spending under control. Card providers offer services to allow you to track and monitor your spending, like traditional financial institutions. Depending on your card issuer, you may be able to check your card balance and card activity via mobile app or online or even through a phone service. Also, you don't need a credit report to make a prepaid card. So no one will scrutinize your credit report when you purchase a prepaid card. Your credit history does not matter because there are no payments and the card providers take no risk. In simple terms, no bank account, no problem. Your card is like a bank account financed by the preloaded amount. So adults who cannot or choose not to open a checking or saving account turn to prepaid cards as an alternative to paying bills by check. You can also withdraw cash at ATMs like a normal credit card. There are only a few downsides to using prepaid cards, but they're significant. Some prepaid cards come with fees. Cardholders may have a lot of fees, including activation fees, transaction fees, ATM withdrawal fees, reloading fees, monthly fees, or inactivity fees. So check the fine print on the card for fee types. On the flip side, as I said, switching to a prepaid card could save you money if you continuously overspend a checking account. So I would recommend using prepaid cards when you often feel you're overspending. Also, lastly, prepaid credit cards cannot increase your credit score, so they cannot help you build or rebuild your credit history.
This one?
Yeah. ACH payments or automated clearinghouse payments are a little different. They're not connected to a card, but they let you transfer money directly from your bank account to another person or company's bank account. Think about um, how your Social Security benefits are automatically deposited into your bank account. That's an ACH payment. So if you set up automatic payments for your electricity or water bills, the money will come out of your bank account using ACH. So you can schedule regular payments like for utility bills so you don't have to remember to pay them every month. Also, it is often free or come with very low fees. However, you have to know that it's not very instant. They can take a few days to go through. As I researched, on average, 80% of payments would be processed on the same day, but sometimes it can take 1 to 3 days. So if you need to make an immediate payment, this might not be the best option. Finally, we have QR code payments. You've probably seen QR codes, like black and white squares you can scan with your phone. QR code payments work like that. You scan the code with your smartphone and it connects to your bank account or digital wallet to make the payment. Imagine you're at a cafe. Instead of handing over cash or a card, the cafe has a QR code at the counter. You simply open your phone, scan the code, and the payment is made instantly. Sometimes, for example, when you're using Starbucks app, QR payment can be done reversely. When you show your QR code in the app to a counter staff, they will scan the code and withdraw the amount of your order. This is also a QR code payment. So it's contactless. You don't have to handle cash or touch a card. It's great for making small purchases quickly, like buying a coffee at a cafe. And of course, it is safe as the data is encrypted. So there's no need to worry about leaked card information like your card number or CVV codes. So to wrap it all up, virtual cards are great for online shopping security. Prepaid cards help with budgeting and are easy to get. ACH payments are perfect for recurring bills and transfers between banks. And QR code payments are fast, touchless, and convenient for small purchases.
Okay,
Do we have any questions on the last section before we continue? This is the last section of our presentation. Okay, Abby, go ahead.
Okay, so now I'm gonna briefly be going over what the future of online payments looks like and how it is becoming such an important part of our daily lives. Um, we're rapidly evolving with new innovative ways to make our transactions, and you can see this when you go outside and at places where we buy food or products. And some of the ones that I think are being integrated more into our society include kiosks, QR codes, um, the buy now, pay later feature, and online shopping. So first, let's talk about kiosks. So at most fast food restaurants now and some regular restaurants, there are kiosks in addition to the traditional counters to purchase and order your food. And this can be more convenient for customers and creates a more efficient process for ordering when there's a long queue of people in line, especially during rush hour. This is super helpful since you don't need to wait for the employees to serve you. And some of them use digital payments, so all it takes is just a simple tap to pay for your food. And then we have QR codes, which Hosung touched on earlier, but we are seeing more and more restaurants get rid of physical menus and just placing a QR code at each table for customers to scan and place their order. And after placing the order, most of the time they allow you to pay directly on your phone as well. And the main benefit of this is that you can order and purchase your food at your own pace. I know as someone who is usually indecisive, it takes me a while to decide what I want to order. And I feel bad if I dismiss my waiter or waitress multiple times to give me more time to think. Um, but I can place my order whenever I want with these QR codes, and you can also use it to order multiple times during your visit without having to wait for someone to come take your order. And then next is the buy now, pay later option. When you are online shopping, some websites now allow you to place an order immediately and then pay for it at a later time or in separate installments. So when you pay through installments, there's no additional charge or interest that you have to worry about. And if you don't have your payment information with you at the moment, this could be convenient for you since you can just come back later once you do have your payment method ready. And if you book a hotel, it's a similar concept where you can reserve a room for your stay ahead of time. And then once you check into the hotel, they can charge your card then. So this is becoming more of a norm for online stores. And then lastly, I just want to emphasize the advantage of online purchases because it definitely broadens the market available to you when you are looking for something. Nowadays, you can virtually get anything from anywhere around the world and at a very fast rate too. If you have Amazon Prime, there are so many things you can buy and have it delivered to your doorstep within 2 days. The future of online payments isn't just about the advancement of technology, but it's also about creating a seamless and inclusive experience for everyone. So as they continue to develop innovations like kiosks and QR codes, we're able to find more ways to make paying a more efficient process. So yes, thank you everyone for listening to our presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
So there's a question in the chat. How do you know that it is a legitimate QR code for the business and not one substituted by a scammer, for example, the parking meter?
I would typically, so in restaurants, they'll have QR codes like at every table. So I feel like for those, there isn't really an issue with whether or not it is legitimate or not. But if you are looking at a QR code outside in public, it may be best to not scan it just in case. But if you know that you're in like a restaurant or something, usually you don't have to worry about that.
If a parking meter, for example, has the option of scanning a QR code or being able to use your physical card in the machine itself, it's most likely safer for you to just use your physical card and not the QR code, just because the legitimacy of the QR code is a concern. And then, are there any other questions before we wrap up for today? No? Okay. Then thank you everyone for coming to our presentation today on online payments. I know that was a lot of information, so we will be sending the slide deck to everyone in order to be able to look over all the videos that we included on the slide deck that we weren't able to go over today. And then of course, if you do have any further questions about online payments, you can feel free to contact the Maritime Center, Bob, and then we'll be more than welcome to help and answer those questions.
Kylie, one final comment from my side is everyone, please mark November 9th. November 9th is our next Gerotech workshop. The subject is streaming. It will get involved not only in Netflix and Amazon Prime and some of the others, but talk a little bit about the future as I think all of us can understand streaming is going to become more and more a part of our life. The use of, for example, of getting primetime sporting events over cable is in the process of changing to pay-for-view type processes where you would stream some of those. So anyway, November 9th, Gerotech folks who are outstanding at helping us along will cover that subject. Thank you very much again from Half Century Trojans and the Maritime Center for joining today.
Yeah, thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you on November 9th, so in 2 weeks. Yep. And then I'll stop the recording now.